between rivers and pines. His father taught him silence first, then traps, then how to break a man's nose with the butt of a musket. They lived without calendar or Sabbath, slept under soot-colored skies, and bartered fur to men with gunpowder eyes and fingers chewed short by frost. The world was at war, though no armies marched here, not formally. The French pushed south with silver and gunpowder, allying with tribes eager for revenge. Settlers vanished by the dozen. Missionaries were found scalped, gutted, or nailed to chapel doors. The forest kept no records and left no witnesses. The boy's only companion was Elian, a wiry, half-French boy with a pistol too old to fire and a grin too crooked to trust. His mother hanged herself in winter. His father was shot by redcoats for spying. Elian had learned to survive by vanishing, into brush, into lies, into other people's fires. They traded with whoever would not shoot first. French smugglers, Tuscarora scouts, a toothless trader named Green who sold black powder and bad dreams. The boy learned to listen with his eyes. Men lied with their mouths, but told the truth with their hands. Then they came upon the ruined village. Smoke draped the rooftops like rotting sailcloth. The cabins were torn from the inside out, doors burst, chimneys blackened, not burned, ripped. In the square, they found a man speared upright on a post. His boots were missing. A child's rattle was tied to his belt. His tongue had been split like a reed, not by blade, but by something cruder. No birds circled. The boy stared. Elian spit and turned away. The father said only, "Waya's hand." They scavenged what little hadn't been spoiled: a cracked cooking pot, a pouch of cornmeal, a strip of birch bark marked with a symbol the boy didn't recognize. When asked what it meant, the father looked at the trees and said, "Not ours to name." They made camp by the creek. That night the wind came warm, too warm for March. It did not smell of weather. It smelled of meat left too long in the sun. The boy woke before dawn. His traps had been tripped, but nothing was caught. The bait was missing. The snow was marked with circles, not tracks, and small piles of teeth left in place of footprints. Not animal teeth, not whole. He asked Elian what it meant. Elian said nothing. The father sat by the dying fire with the musket across his lap. He spoke slowly. "I've seen this before, north of the river. During the raids, a trader's camp found hollowed like a fruit. No signs of fight, no blood, but something worse. All the eyes were gone. They say Waya walks with the French, but it ain't just war he brings." Later that day, they found Ruth. She was curled beneath the floorboards of a collapsed chapel, her dress torn and blood dried at her collarbone. She hadn't spoken in 2 days, but when they touched her, she screamed like something trying to remember how. It took hours to calm her. The father did not ask questions, but that night, Ruth spoke on her own. She said the French had come with rifles and coats that reeked of wine. Behind them, the Tuscarora, with red paint across their eyes. They made no demands. They simply cut. They killed the priest first, then the men, then the rest, all except her. "They spared me," she said, "because of this." She lifted her blouse. A spiral had been cut into her skin, jagged, uneven, still scabbed. "They said the land wanted something waits." The boy stepped outside. He walked through the low pine fog, sick with unease. Then he saw it, a tree, large, split with age. At its center, carved with a knife of some age and depth, Croatoan. The word pulsed faintly, like it breathed with the earth. The boy stepped back. He heard nothing. No wind, no frogs, not even the creek. The silence was not peace. It was watching. When he returned to the fire, the father's eyes were wide, fixed on the coals. Elian sat with his pistol drawn. Ruth rocked in her blanket like she was praying without sound. The boy said nothing. And then, without turning his head, the father spoke. "It's here." Act 2. They left at dawn, east toward the rising sun. The father kept the group small and moved silent. Himself, the boy, Elian, and Ruth. They made no fire. The air grew damp and heavy, thickening until each breath felt stolen. Ruth stumbled often, staring blankly into the mist as though listening to words the others could not hear. By mid-morning, they crossed paths with tracks, moccasin prints alongside boot heels, Frenchmen and Tuscarora moving together. The tracks headed toward settlements to the south. Settlements too small to have names. The father tightened his grip on his musket. They came upon a creek bed choked with driftwood and swollen with rain. A wooden sign was nailed crookedly to a tree. It read, "Fort Eden, 6 miles. The father scowled at it, then spat. Fort Eden, he said, as though naming a wound. Place ain't holy. Folks settled there back when the crown promised protection. But now it's been abandoned, left to the French and their allies. They found Fort Eden just past midday. It stood on a rise, a jagged husk of charred timbers. Its palisade was splintered. Holes in the walls gaped like broken teeth. Bodies lay scattered outside, soldiers stripped bare, limbs severed cleanly as though by surgeon's blade. A single brass cannon pointed skyward, blackened by flame, silent as a corpse's mouth. Inside, the scene was worse. Men had died fighting, stacked atop one another like kindling. Women lay beside them, dresses torn and bloodied. Children had been herded into the chapel, the doors barred from the outside. The boy saw what remained through cracks in the boards. He turned away and vomited in silence. They lingered briefly, gathering ammunition from bodies too far gone to mourn. The father muttered curses under his breath as they moved through the ruin. Ruth drifted, pale and silent, eyes fixed on something none of them could see. They set off again, away from Eden, following an old hunting path. That night they sheltered beneath an abandoned cabin. Elian sat by the doorway, pistol loose in his lap. Ruth slept fitfully, whispering unintelligible prayers. The boy asked Elian if he had known Waya before. Elian shook his head slowly. Only his shadow. French call him Le Marcheur Rouge, the Red Walker. Say he was raised by priests but turned his back. Now he takes scalps and children. They say he dreams of drowning the land in blood. Tuscarora fear him more than whites do. And why do the French ride with him? The boy asked. Elian stared into the dark. Because fear wins wars faster than bullets. They pressed deeper the next morning. The path twisted, vanishing beneath layers of leaves, emerging again like some sick trick of memory. The trees grew twisted here, roots lifting like bones from shallow graves. At midday, Ruth collapsed. When the boy lifted her, her eyes rolled white, and she whispered through cracked lips, "This is its land. It's under us. It listens." She clutched his wrist. "It wants you. It chose you." The boy recoiled but said nothing. They carried her forward to a crossroads marked by an old stone marker worn smooth by wind. On it, carved by an uncertain hand, was a simple circle, the spiral at its center, the mark on Ruth's chest. From behind them came a sudden snapping of branches. They spun around, muskets raised. From the trees emerged a figure wrapped in red, paint streaking his cheeks, jaw set like stone. Around him, Tuscarora warriors stood silent, painted and ready. Behind them, French rifles gleamed. Waya smiled slowly. His voice rolled out calm, low, accented French thick with menace. "You have something of ours." Elian's pistol shook in his grip. The father's musket barrel wavered, eyes narrowed in hatred. Waya took a single step forward, arms spread in mocking welcome. "We've come for the girl," he said, his gaze on Ruth. "Leave now," the father said, voice tight and brittle, "or we all die here." Waya smiled again. "Dying is easy. I offer you worse. Life in this place, alive but hollow, forever." He gestured, and warriors stepped closer. French soldiers leveled muskets. The father fired first. Chaos erupted in smoke and blood. Bullets tore the air, splinters flew from trees, screams split the fog. The boy lost sight of Elian. Ruth lay curled in the dirt, hands over her ears, whispering fevered prayers. A blade flashed, and the boy saw his father fall, blood spilling dark into the earth. Then silence. He stumbled toward the body, mouth open, no sound coming. Ruth stared wide-eyed, fingers bloody from clutching at the ground. Waya knelt beside the boy, quietly, as if sharing a secret. "There are no gods left here, only men and what they bury." Waya stood, motioned his men away, and vanished into the forest, leaving only footprints and corpses behind. A lion emerged, breath ragged, face ash white. He said nothing. Ruth wept soundlessly, staring into emptiness. The boy knelt in silence, holding his father's hand as it turned cold. Above them, the stone marker watched like a gravestone. Night closed around them like soil over a body.